Hey guys, Michael here. I hope that you're all doing great today. So, a couple of days ago, I put out a video about a mod called Turn Skipper, I think is what it's called. Anyway, that's what it does. It skips turns. That you can use if you are creative to generate some really kind of interesting changes to your campaign. Basically, a delayed start, for example, or if you just want to handicap yourself and give other factions around you a chance to build up a little bit before you go on and take them on, things like that. Well, I've got another one for you, kind of along the same lines, but this one is going to create even wackier situations. So this one has the potential to really create some insanity in your campaigns. And I guess it would probably be more appealing for those of you who are looking for just like an ultimate challenge sort of a thing. So this is the fully randomized starting position mod. And as you can see, I have started out a campaign here with Malagor the Dark Omen, but I'm not in the place that you would normally expect to be with Malagor the Dark Omen. So I'll show you exactly how it works in just a second, but I do want to say I think that there are some factions that this makes sense for. I think the Beastmen is a great example. You can still very much thematically make sense of the Beastmen starting out in pretty much any situation all around the world. And I think there's a few other factions that you could do that as well. Moreover, this is not going to be really very well balanced for a lot of factions. Again, the Beastmen are one that could probably, you could drop them anywhere in the world and they'll be just fine because of the way they create their herdstones. I think Khorne could be another one where, thematically and functionally, it's not going to be that big of a deal for them to start out almost anywhere in the world. There's going to be others as well. But I think if you want to try to stick to a theme, it probably would be, you'd have to do a little bit of really creative brainstorming to think of a reason why an Emperor Karl Franz campaign would start in the Chaos Wastes, for example. Or maybe a Belagar campaign would start out in Lustria. These are things that thematically, I don't want to say that it's impossible because, there's some creative people out there who could think of some really interesting reasons. It reminds me of another mod that I covered a while back, months ago, where I actually did an Emperor Karl Franz campaign, and I used the mod that allows you to switch from one starting region to a different one where you get to actually choose the one that you go to. And in that one, I just had Karl Franz getting pulled away to somewhere in the eastern part of the empire. So, and then while he was gone, there was a rebellion that rose up and took Altdorf from him. So thematically, that one made a little bit of sense. Again, you could do something very similar like to that with this particular mod. But anyway, so yeah, I think this is, it's a way to really, again, just like the one from the Turn Skipper from a couple of days ago, it's a way to get like a really fresh look on a campaign that maybe you really enjoy playing as this particular legendary lord, but you don't want to have the, the same old feel to your campaign. So as you can see, I have the hero here. I went ahead and tested it out to see if the starting hero that you get would come with you even before you click if you don't move him into the army before you click the button, and he does in fact come with you. So as you can see, we're now basically starting just like this would be a brand new campaign here, where we have, again, basically essentially the same starting army that we would normally have, and in this case we don't have the same enemy, but we are going to go ahead obviously and make ourselves go to war with who is this? This is Imperial Wardens. So here you go. You got a Cathay faction up here with us. So a couple of things to note then right away. This not only switches the player's faction, but switches all the factions in the game. So that's why you've got Cathay up here in Norska. Not really a big deal as far as I'm concerned. Just as you can see, we can go ahead, declare war on Cathay, and hopefully this is a fight that we can win. Yep, decisive victory. I'll just go ahead and auto-resolve this. But boom, we should be able to continue our campaign pretty much like a normal campaign at this point, raising our herdstone. And so, yeah, like I said, with the Beastmen, I think it really, you can kind of hit the ground running and really have, pretty much a normal campaign from this point forward. It's just going to be in a different part of the world. But anyway, let's go ahead and show how you actually use the mod. And again, I'll show an example of maybe a faction that doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense, but you could still create some wackiness in your campaigns if you want to. All right, so here we are in a Prince Tyrion campaign, and yeah, this is going to be one that thematically is going to be a little bit more of a stretch, as well as it's going to be a much more challenging campaign. But one thing that I do want to mention is I really find campaigns like Belagar's to be quite interesting, which is sort of your mission. You actually have something different than the regular old sandbox experience in Immortal Empires. You've actually got a mission from the very beginning to go conquer a particular city. Well, we could very easily just say, in the case of Prince Tyrion, wherever we end up, this guy's supposed to be the protector of Ulthuan. He's going to start out, presumably, probably somewhere else, and he's going to immediately have a Belagar-like mission where he's going to have to try to get back and, find his way back to Ulthuan so that he can help fight off the Chaos invasions in Ulthuan, and in particular, try to take Lothern back. So, as you can see right over here, we do have a fully random start position button right here. We're going to go ahead and click on this. Now, I'm going to let it play here in the background. It takes a couple of minutes for everything to happen. So I'll keep talking here while it's doing it, but you can kind of see some interesting things happening on it. Okay, wow, it's already happened. Okay, so we already have disappeared from right here. Okay, so it's still processing here. It does take a little while, like I said. We have to kind of give it a minute for all of the processing to finish and like for messages to stop popping up here. So a couple of things to note if you're going to use this mod. Number one, the starting wars are based on the positioning. So Lothern here, so I should say Eataine starts out at war with, I forget now exactly what this minor Dark Elf faction is called, but so these two would, whoever's located here and here are the two that start out at war with each other. So after this is fully randomized, whoever ends up here and whoever ends up here are going to be at war with each other. Okay, let's see. Okay, it looks like we are now done processing. So, okay, wow. Interestingly enough, we're still here in Ulthuan, so not quite as dramatic of a change as I was expecting. So we're up here in basically having switched places, I guess, with, is this Illyrian who's normally here? I don't remember for sure, but I want to say this is maybe Illyrian. That's normally right here. So we actually are not very far away from our starting location. So you know what? It's completely random, so that kind of thing can happen. Maybe we'll just go ahead and do one more example here so that you can see something that's going to be quite a bit more wacky than this one turned out to be. All right, so I decided to do another example here with Karl Franz because he's really a good one from the standpoint of Karl Franz is very much tied to Altdorf, right? As sort of the de facto leader of the empire. I know he doesn't exactly start out that way, but you get what I'm saying. He's pretty much very closely associated with the capital here of Altdorf. So what would happen if we go ahead and fully random start position this particular campaign, and let's see where we turn out. And by the way, somebody mentioned in the comments, and I think it perfectly makes sense, do not use this with the Chaos Dwarfs unless you want to start doing some console commands to fix things. Because unfortunately, as the Chaos Dwarfs, when you take over a new settlement, you get to choose what type of settlement it will be. Well, the game doesn't know which of those to make it when it randomly throws you in a new one. So, I think for most people, you're probably just going to want to avoid this with the Chaos Dwarfs. Okay, so we've got province secured. Let's see if it's still processing. Yeah, it's still processing here. But what we can see is Clan Treacherich here has ended up with Altdorf. That's going to be a very interesting situation. Obviously, any kind of a Skaven taking over Altdorf is going to make for a really wacky campaign. All right, let's see. Okay, looks like it's all done processing now. It took about a minute probably. We got all these wars declared here. Again, these are things that you can expect to see because of everything being shuffled around. So we now are at war with... Who are we at war with? We must be at... Okay, we're not at war with anybody. That's interesting. Who normally starts here? Okay, we're in Shambletown. So that's why we've taken the location of one of the minor ogre factions who doesn't actually start out at war with anybody. So we also, it looks like, have Knobbly Gorge. Oh, we have... Okay, I didn't even realize this, so I'm kind of learning this on the fly. We actually have an entire province. So we've got Shambletown, we've got Flayed Rock. Oh, this is the... Oh, is this Clan Treacherich? It might be. They might start out with all this. I thought this was a minor ogre faction that started out right here, but maybe it's that minor Skaven faction that, yeah, it must be, that Helman Gorst starts out at war against. Normally he would come over here and take Knobbly Gorge. So there you have it. So you not only switch a single region, you switch the entire ownership of whoever you switch places with. So in this case, we are Clan Treacherich. However, I would have expected us to be at war with, in this case, it looks like it's Clan Mange here. So I'm not sure why we're not at war with them, unless we for some reason haven't met them. No, we've met them and we're not at war. So okay, I don't know. I can't explain that one. I was pretty sure in the mod it did say that you start out at war with who based on starting position. So I would have thought that these two would be at war, but apparently not. Apparently I'm wrong. So in any case, we'll be at war very, very shortly. So this is going to be kind of interesting. So we are getting kind of an advanced start, the fact that we start out with an entire province, but at the same time, we've got ourselves kind of a really... I wonder if we still have any visibility. Yeah, we do. We still have visibility over the empire over here. So we've got our work very much cut out for ourselves if we want to have a campaign where we eventually work our way back into the empire and ultimately take Altdorf. So still going to be a very interesting situation. Obviously, we lucked out a little bit here getting an entire province. That's not necessarily going to happen. You could find yourself in a very, very very destitute situation with only as like a single minor province and, you know, not very much income or something like that. So your mileage may vary definitely based on the results of RNG, but in any case, very much going to be an interesting challenge for people who are looking for that kind of a thing. So, all right, anyway, let me know if you've tried this one before. I'm curious if anybody has used this before. I'm actually investigating this based on a comment that somebody made on one of my videos recently. So I know at least some of you have used this, but let me know what your own experience is. Let me know if there's any other factions other than the Chaos Dwarves that have a problem with this. But yeah, it's going to just create some absolute havoc in your campaign. So I hope some people found this interesting and give it a try. And if so, if you do give it a try, let me know about that as well. So, all right, I'll go ahead and finish here. Thanks everybody so much for watching and listening. I will see you all in the next video.